After entertaining fans across the globe for the best part of 40 years, this week Tasmanians get their chance to get up close and personal with an icon of world comedy. Brent Costelloe sat down with John Cleese ahead of his sellout shows in Hobart and Launceston.
He's had the world in stitches for years.
I do apologise. You bastard!
And for John Cleese, there's no slowing down. The 74-year-old is in Tasmania for the next week, performing in Hobart and Launceston with his new stage show, An Evening with John Cleese. John Cleese, it's an absolute privilege to sit here and talk to you. Welcome to Tasmania. Have you been here before?
Never, no. I've been to Australia, I think, 10 or 12 times in my life. I came a lot in the 70s and early 80s, and then I'm afraid your economy went south for a time, so I wasn't getting invited out to do commercials and things like that. And then we started up again about 7 or 8 years ago. So I've been here, as I say, a lot, but never down to Tassie before.
Had you heard much about Tasmania then?
Yes, I had, because I know Bradley Trevor Grieve, who I think is quite well known from these parts. But I want to go out and have a look at your wildlife and visit the wineries, because I'm a huge fan already of your Sauvignon Blancs and your Rieslings.
Cleese is an icon of world comedy. His biggest hits came in the 1970s. One of them was Monty Python.
Hello, Polly! Polly! Polly Parrot, wake up! Polly!
Monty Python must have been a wonderful time in your life, working, if you can call it that, with some of your closest friends.
Well, I remember it being very, very enjoyable for the first couple of series. We were a tight-knit little group, and at the beginning, rather like a rock band, you know, you unify against the world because you have to win them over. Then as we won people over more, the people began to move off in their own directions.
But Cleese would be best remembered for his role as enigmatic hotel manager Basil Fawlty in Fawlty Towers.
Well, can we keep it down? Well, I mean, all I wanted was a cheese salad. It wasn't as though I'd ordered an elephant's ear on a bun, was it? I mean, the whole thing is...
Have these.
It's ridiculous. I mean, for a man who's supposed to be running a hotel, your behaviour is totally incorrect.
What memories do you have of Fawlty Towers?
Looking at my watch. I mean, we used to do, I talked about this in the show, I used to do something like 140 pages in a script, and the average BBC sitcom is 65 pages. So for every page that most people do, we were doing 2 pages, which meant that the dialogue just had to be like that, you know. And it's a lot to learn, because there's a lot of physical comedy. It's not people sitting on sofas swapping jokes.
Were you ever tempted to make more episodes of Fawlty Towers?
No. No.
Now, I believe if it wasn't for your father, you could have been known as John Cheese. Can you tell us about that?
Dad was born Reginald Francis Cheese, and I talk about that in the show too. But when he went in the army in 1915 to go and fight the First World War, he was fed up being teased about his name, so he changed the H to an L.
Cleese also spoke of his love of cricket, reflecting on England's recent 5-0 Ashes drubbing to Australia.
Your confidence went there. Everybody started playing above their game, and our confidence just went like that. And there wasn't enough fight there. I was a bit embarrassed.
The star of stage and screen will perform in Hobart throughout this week before travelling to Launceston for shows next Saturday and Sunday night.
You snobs!
John Cleese, it's been an absolute pleasure and privilege to sit down with you. Thanks very much for joining us on Win News.